Thank you, Presiding Officer. I'm happy to contribute in today's debate and add something from the areas of investments that are being brought into Sri Lanka, as well as the Merchant Shipping Act, which is being amended today. Firstly, let me mention the investment agreements that are there. While saying that it is a step in the right direction, I guess the focus must be more on countries that can really trade rather than adding numbers to the game. Now, Belarus is a country that is good to basically have connections with, but what is the trading that we do with one another? But keep adding on is appreciative, and I think that should be mentioned here. Otherwise, you think that it is just from opposition mentioning for the sake of doing so. I would basically appreciate if the concept from Foreign Ministry is to ensure that we have a more foreign commercialization of the policies that we basically make. Now look at India, which is staring before us. You've got SEPA, which is being spoken of. Every time a minister, external minister comes from India, his pet poodle is to ensure what is the status of the comprehensive economic preferential agreement. This has moved from a free trade agreement to enhanced free trade agreement to a SEPA that is there. Knocking on the door is India, Sri Lanka saying yes or no at this particular moment. I guess we must realize that little Sri Lanka is certainly located in a very geographically well-located place, but taking on India is, I guess, asinine. India can do without us, but can we do without India? That's the stark reality. I guess this is the policy that has got to be adopted, where the foreign policy must be able to meet up with the domestic requirement. Here is Sri Lanka having a production base that is there, and our production base is far too greater than what is required by the domestic requirement. So when there is a surplus capacity that is there, we must create the market that is around us. And the market that can be created around us is the world at large, but more so the closer trading partners that are there. India, extended version SAARC, or the BIMSTEC, or the ASEAN, and this is the way we have to go forward. So as a result, while all these investment agreements are certainly laudable and appreciative, we must ensure that our closest trading partner can be made India, can be made to be India. And that's where we call upon what is the situation on the SEPA. It is, for the last 3-4 years, it has been having a no-go situation or sand in the gear approach. And that is where we call upon the government that you must ensure that you know the woods from the trees. There is no point signing 100 agreements worldwide that you won't trade even $100 a year against what is potentially possible from India, which we have ignored, or we have kept aside, or we are trying to play India versus China. And at the end of the day, we, on the long run, will get affected. So I guess it is necessary that we would get a responsive answer on this type of area, where we could basically see that there is a tremendous progress that can be made if the SEPA used with the chambers of commerce positively contributing in the process. There is certainly a great fear that is there, but that is if you go blindly into a situation. Now, why I take the SEPA first is that you also see a lot of noise being made on the free trade agreement with China. Now, China is a massive trading country. It is more inbound than outbound. And here you have, just after the visit of the president, and I guess you who accompanied him, you suddenly come back and say, we have a free trade agreement with China. Now, if you have free trade agreements as you have plucked a fruit from a tree and get free trade agreements of this nature, then there's something radically wrong with our policy of our trade and external ministry. And I guess, I don't think that is what is wanted, because the manufacturers in this country are having an uneven playing field. The manufacturers are of best of qualities in Sri Lanka. Unfortunately, they have got to compete with a region where the prices are absolutely low. Our rupee is unrealistically high. Our infrastructure is charged as one of the highest in the world. Electricity, our water, our roads that are being used, as well as fuel that is there to fuel the entire system. So when the input costs are high, and the rupee is overvalued, you would obviously make our production much more uncompetitive than what would come from our region. Now, this is where our Sri Lankan exporter is placed with a huge burden on. If you look at India, which basically the Indian rupee was roughly around 48 just about 6-7 months ago, is today almost 60 rupees. So a devaluation of almost 22%. Now where Sri Lanka should have been devalued by about 30-40%, is artificially kept at a particular point where the devaluation has only taken place by about 4-5%. So if you look at the devaluation per se relatively between India and Sri Lanka, the devaluation alone has helped Indian exporter. Now, which is magnitude that is there, the critical mass that is there in India, you are basically putting our exporters totally out of the picture. So these are the macro picture that has got to be looked by the planners of our country. I don't think at this particular moment there are proper planning. It is a knee-jerk reaction that is being taking place. That is why it's reflected in the balance of payments. You would see the balance of payments today, a yawning gap, ever expanding, owing to the fact that the exporters are declining, the imports are increasing, and as a result, having a direct impact on the trade balance. Now, when the trade balance has an impact, it obviously has overall impact on the balance of payments. Now, service industry, we certainly are making progress while doing the service in the country, as well as sending our labor out of the country, and that is the only one that is having a salvaging grace at the moment. But still, that is not sufficient enough to cover the gap that is there in the balance of payment. So, Honourable Minister, I am sure you are contributory, you have a big role to play, and I guess it is necessary to ensure that we have a more robust type of investment drive that is taken place, protecting the domestic industry and the exporters by itself. Just talking and saying we have numbers of this amount of investment agreements that is there, I mean, as you reflect today, you have one with Luxembourg, you have one with Palestine, you have one with Seychelles, and you have one with Belarus. But are these countries that are exporting at this particular moment even, I mean, Luxembourg, yes, certainly, because of the Benelux operation, yes, there is. But beyond that, in any case, Benelux was covered, Luxembourg was covered very handsomely with the pre-agreements that were there during the 2001-2002 period. So as a result, the other countries are nice to add on, but not in export terms. So, Honourable Minister, at this particular moment, all I want to say is that I guess we've got to move it in the correct direction. But certainly touching on the areas of China Free Trade Agreement, this is something which is very cautiously that needs to be handled. It's certainly a boiling pot, because our manufacturers are fighting against, unable to compete within the SAARC region. And imagine we open the floodgates into China, where you have such a lot of cheap production that goes on there, and you're able to send that in, you will basically demolish the production base of Sri Lanka. So as a result, I was basically at a function and I was able to mention this to the Excellency the President as well, and I'm sure is with the knowledge of the chambers and with other decision makers, I'm sure you could put it into correct state. But at this particular moment, what I would worry about is a free trade agreement would mean inflow from China and outflow from Colombo. What is the outflow that we can send to China? It was being mentioned of garments. I mean, it's ludicrous to even think that we are able to send garments to China when it is infested in that area of Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Myanmar, which is a threat for the entire region, as well as Thailand from an upper market point of view, going into China. There is no special relationship that is there, which is basically said, okay, any item that comes from Sri Lanka will be bought for nothing. No, it is market conditions. So on that particular basis, then next one would say tea. I mean, China is the biggest tea manufacturing country. And on that basis, Sri Lanka can certainly send quality tea for sure. But it is not the quantity, it is not the volume that is there, it is overall value and quantity that both have got to be looked at. So just trading garments and tea and opening the rest of the industry for the free trade agreement with items coming in, which was reflected by some of your opinion makers or decision makers of almost 8,600 goods, would certainly, being a former Minister of Trade, do reflect that this is an area of cautiousness that needs to be looked at. So I would basically mention that just only for a point of mentioning that there's a necessity to look after the trade, in a more cautious manner. The next area I would like to add is to ensure that Foreign Ministry and the Trade Ministry should look at this in a more harmonious relationship, that you are able to commercialize the relationship that you have. Finally, foreign policy is commercializing that decision into what is good for our country. I guess the export ministry that is there at the moment is doing certain things in the right direction. And I'm sure you, with your knowledge, must be able to do much more than that. But I guess with your preoccupation on other matters, that the emphasis that needs to be paid on the commercialization process of the foreign ministry may lack. So as a result, ensure that you have certain people that commercialize this and ensure that benefit accrues to the country. At this particular moment, it is certainly, being a manufacturer, and even though being opposition member, being vibrantly involved in the trade activities of Sri Lanka, we find the difficulty. I personally been able to manage to get items that are coming from India and Bangladesh into Sri Lanka, because I have been able to speak with some of your ministers and able to ensure that we close the doors on certain things that are wrong and open the doors which are right. But that is not sufficient enough when the potential is far greater. And we are only at the tip of the iceberg on these type of issues. So that's why it is necessary, after all, this is the national economy. This is not a blue-colorized economy or a red-colorized economy or a green. It is a national economy we are talking, and we need to have practical guys that are doing this. I was particularly intrigued to see Honorable Champika Ranawaka mentioning on the Sampur agreement. After a cabinet reshuffle and his knowledge that he had prior to being removed from the ministry, he did express that the Sampur agreement is certainly detrimental to Sri Lanka. Now, reading through the final lines, I find that it is a more or less a diplomatic operation that is going on. Satisfying India and at the expense of financial expense of Sri Lanka is what the minister surmised in his roundup at a press conference. He mentioned that the loss could be as much as 6 to 14 billion. Now, if 6 to 14 billion this is not a figure that I pluck off the skies or something. It is Mr. Champika Ranawaka, being a responsible minister, I feel, having prior knowledge, being the former minister, mentions that this is the impact that can be for the country. Now, 6 to 14 billion, if you take an average of that, is much more than what you are basically expending today to the Samudhi movement. Samudhi has only 9.6 billion being spent. So if you take that this operational loss that could take place, it is a humongous operation. So I guess there is a necessity at least to pay attention on what this Honourable Minister has basically mentioned. Now, going on further, as investments are obviously necessary to ensure investments come into this country as well as ensure the growth takes place in a robust manner, we also have to look at quality investments coming in. Now, in the recent past, investments coming into the country has been of great difficulty. A lack of investment that is coming in the right direction has led to the country to go into a short way or a shorter directed approach of trying to get investment. That is why you have suddenly gone into casino-related investment development. And the country is certainly jerked in at this particular moment. The Mahanayaka Swamin Vansas on one side, the religious dignitaries such as the Archbishop and the Muslim and the Hindu religious prelates on the other side, have certainly have expressed their concern by saying, this is not the investment that is required for the country. Because taking a shortcut to investment drive at the expense of the long-term interest of the country is certainly being played around, is what is being mentioned. And I support that view also wholeheartedly. There is no necessity to say that there was such an attempt of casinos to be brought during the UMP time, and as a result, what the hell is going on now? If that is the case, all the powers are there, why have you not stopped it? There is no legalized casino operation license that has been given. So on that basis, I was pretty surprised. A casino name that was being downplayed or being doused by the ministers up to now, suddenly the papers today mentioned new casino bill in the House before Budget 2014. Now, government has not withdrawn the casino bill, says the one member of the government, and the other minister says, we are going to introduce the casino bill in a different form. So I am particularly interested to know, I may be mischievous on this particular basis, but owing to the fact that investments are being brought in And today the investments are related to the biggest two projects, such as one coming from the Ranking International and the other from John Keel's. Both of them are related to casino driven. Now, the government pursues to say that there is no casino license being given. Now, Honourable Minister, is it for us to believe that you have a huge investor coming in, $400 million that are coming in from Australia, or maybe $500 million coming from any part of the world into John Keel's operation, and these guys are going to basically be saying, okay, we have built a place and casino is not there. They purposely say the main objective is casinos. So if they don't have a casino license, then how the hell are they going to trade? අර සිංහලෙන් කියනවා වගේ මේගොල්ලෝ ඇවිල්ලා මෙහි ඇට බෝල ගන්න. ඉතින් ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් අපි දැනගන්න අවශ්‍ය මොනවද කරන්න? Today Daily Mirror paper says government to amend casino bill, says Lakshman Yapa Bevadana. He's a very Lakshman Yapa Bevadana says there is no casino license being given. So then what is it of this casino bill that is coming in that is related to these two mega investors that is there? I only mention this in passing because of the fact that today we are talking of investment drive that is there, and I would like to touch upon to ensure that the government must be more serious and consistent in their approach. If they are defending an issue, defend it properly. If they are attacking an issue, attack it properly. But don't be running with the hare, hunting with the hound. And at the end of the day, giving a vexed, nebulous approach to the country, and that is what is being done today. So, Honourable Minister, all we can basically mention is from the extent of investments, that is the difficulty that you will have. Owing to the lack of consistency, owing to the lack of coherency, and owing to the lack of deep-rooted macro planning, you have a knee-jerk reaction that is happening. And today, that is the impact that the foreign investors are not coming to the country. A classic example is Al Futtaim Group in Dubai, which during the war, it was hats off to the government, investors of that nature, coming, taking the risk, and coming to this country. When the war was on, they invested almost 4.5 billion rupees. But what happened? The first budget that was introduced by the President in 2009, that is for 2010 years, said that there was reduction in the duties of small cars. Then what happened was within 2 months, the balance of payments was so grave that they basically reduced the reduction in duty and increased it dramatically. And then what happened was companies that came and invested here said that this is like a banana republic. You know, you have a president who is a finance minister, comes and mentions in the budget, these are the way forward. And then what happens is the very person who mentions is the way forward says, in 2 months, I'm sorry, that direction is wrong. So if this is the person at the helm saying so, there is obviously a problem that is there. So these are the matters that needs to be corrected. These are the matters that need to be reflected and made correct, remedial action to be taken. So I wouldn't want to take any further on that area. I'd like to touch upon the shipping area. I guess shipping is a very important industry that we can touch upon. The industry that is there before us is staring an opportunity that we are losing. The losing for the reason is we are becoming uncompetitive. Number of proliferation of ports being built in Sri Lanka does not necessarily increase the shipping industry that is there. But owing to the fact that we had a goal and opportunity, my late political guru, Mr. Lalit Athurat Mudali, ensured when he basically became the shipping minister, trade and shipping minister in 1978-79, did revolutionarily change the shipping industry in Sri Lanka. What did he do? He looked at the geographical well-located position in Sri Lanka and ensured that we try to maximize the benefit that we can accrue out of the shipping industry. That is the reason why he basically looked at the first thing that was there, commercializing the Sri Lankan opportunity. The flag of opportunity, or flag of convenience, or flag of opportunity, like what they call, is the first thing that should be done. Today's Merchant Shipping Amendment Act does ensure that you've got to pursue in this type of area. Panama as a country, Liberia as a country are areas that have maximized that. So on that particular basis, I would like to ensure that we take the opportunity that is staring before us and ensure we open the doors to ensure more of such people come in, because the fact that Sri Lanka is accepted in the world as a shipping point, a hub port, and also the opportunity do exist now that there is a peaceful environment that is there. So I guess if the shipping ministers were here, I'm sure it would have been more contributory. But today, the ministers don't know what the hell is going on. It is a remote control run from one or two places where the ministers only become a rubber stamping operation. It is necessary that you have a strategic thinking team that is there. People like you, instead of sitting here, you should be in ministries, Honourable Sir. So these are the problems that are there. You have square pegs in round hole and then play around with the national economy, and today we are having the resultant problem that is there. As an opposition member, I'm glad on one area that there is a mess up, but overall I'm a Sri Lankan, and this is the national economy we are playing around with. So it is contributory, or it is incumbent on me to mention that these are the ways that we are going to take it forward. So flag of convenience or a flag of opportunity, as is mentioned, should be maximized. These are the areas that little Sri Lanka can earn millions of dollars without even putting a single cent in. You don't need to go after aid. You don't need to go after begging bowl of investment drive. All you got to say is Sri Lanka is there. Use convenience of flag of opportunity and ensure we get more shipping vessels coming in. Likewise, we must also develop a vessels development team. Because the more merchant vessels that come into the country, obviously necessitates more staff members coming onto those vessels. When that happens, there is an obvious utilization of those ships, and then you have regional trading that takes place. The shipping industry expands from that. With the expansion, you have inbound, outbound. The government has done a right thing with entrepreneur trading that is there. Now, these are all contributory. Owing to being an island nation, it is necessary that the shipping industry plays a pivotal role. But it doesn't play the role that is expected. You have a port chairman that is there more interested in filling the sea rather than running ports. He basically runs ports on the basis of even if vessels don't come, you have a port that is good enough. These are the type of hideous transactions that are taking place. So, Honourable Sir, all I want to mention today is that the merchant vessel development opportunity that is there before us is not being exploited. We must ensure that we utilize this and maximize the opportunity. The next one is the coastal shipping. When you have many ports that are there, from Colombo to Galle to Hambantota to Ampare's Oluville, from Oluville to Trincomalee to Kankasanture.
Yes, Honourable Member, now please find out.
Yes, I will just take 2 or 3 minutes more. And on that particular basis, there is a necessity that we basically promote coastal shipping because it's cheaper, it is more versatile, and utilize the unutilized capital-intensive operations that have been put into place today. You have investments-driven ports that are there which are staring and doing nothing. You have you have got the Hambantota port that is there as the biggest port that is idling in the world. You have Trincomalee, which is a natural harbour. You don't need to spend a single cent. It's unutilized there. Then you add on Oluville. So as a result, all I want to basically say is that coastal shipping is a good opportunity that is there. I was also concerned with today the government ministers, Champika Ranawaka and Udaya Gamanpilla, they were mentioning the 5 hubs or casino hub, what is required. Now, the government quite rightly looked at opportunities that are there, knowledge-driven, ports-driven, aviation, computer-driven, all those things are there. But what? Those are only words that are spoken. The real situation, they are not exploiting it, and now they basically go the easy way, as I said, the casino operation, and then that is the end of it. Now, I know time is a problem, so I just only want to mention one thing. Look at the sense of absurdity that is coming out from the port chairman. Now, these are the guys who are gullible, who think that we are idiots, and who think that government, people's taxpaying money can be used the way he wants, filling 500 acres near the new port, Southport development port that has taken place in Colombo. Filling 500 acres and trying to build an additional city there is his logic behind. When you have the same available land that is there in my electorate in Colombo North, you have a Himalayas type of a garbage dump in Colombo North, which is tearing before the port, which easily can be taken, used for fertilizer, and ensure the 30-40 acres that are there put to commercial use. Now, these guys don't get these ideas because they can't make any money. So as a result, they would prefer filling the seabed with, I don't know with what at the end of the day, I'm building a separate city there instead of taking the garbage dump and then putting it to good use. Now, what does he say? He says congestion at Hambantota port, vessels anchored in outer harbour awaiting bunkering. Now, does this guy think that we are a pack of idiots? That what he says is accepted gospel truth? The port has opened almost 30 months, and there's commercial vehicles that are coming in is the only acceptable thing that is happening. There is no gantry cranes there. There is no permanent staff that is there. And he is now making a call that Hambantota port must be having its second phase development. You have already spent 68 billion rupees, having an amortization cost of 6 billion, not having a revenue more than $100,000 that is there, and he's now going for the second phase instead of basically maximizing the existing. So who does he think?
Yes, Honourable Member, now please.
Is he singing hosannas for his dinner? No, these are matters that need to be mentioned because the government members don't have the courage to mention of this. If they say so, they'll probably be politically harassed. So as a result, they do communicate to us to get this communicator. That doesn't matter. That's a national role that we have got to play. We'll certainly do it. But we must call upon the bluff of these guys. The corruption element that is there in the port of Colombo, in Hambantota, is basically making us uncompetitive. You have Hong Kong on one side, you have Malaysia on the other side, you have Singapore on one side, you have Fujairah on the other side, you have Oman on one side.
Honourable Ravi Karunanayake, now you have already taken...
So then you have Sri Lanka that is there, not able to provide something which is competitively advantageous, and on that basis, we will ensure we lose the competitiveness in the shipping industry that is there.
So thank you very much.
Honourable Presiding Officer, you must ensure in this House, when there is people who don't understand what is going on, gets up like a jack in the box and shouts, he must be called, they must be named. That is why he's not allowed to sit on that chair anymore. So, Honourable Sir, all I want to mention is that these are mentioned in the good stead of the country development.
Thank you very much.
And ensure corruption is eliminated, competitiveness and value-addedness is brought into the system.
Yes, thank you very much.